This episode of Walt Disney World Today is being sponsored by MEI and MouseFan Travel. And after you spent hours and lots of money on a futile effort to win your fantasy football team this year, why not make your life a little bit easier after you realize that your Philadelphia Eagles defense is going to go nowhere for you? Have MEI and MouseFan Travel be agency that you choose to help you plan your next trip to Walt Disney World, so at least you can tell your wife, well, at least I did something right this year. Give them a try. Visit them at www.mousefantravel.com.
Time is so far away. You're counting down the seconds every single day. What are you to do? Well, there's one venue I recommend you turn to. Where your magic withdrawal will finally be cured. Spend 3 days a week with Super Walt Disney World nerds. You can depend on Matt, Mike, and WDW today. WDW today.
It's Wednesday, September 3rd, 2008, and this is episode 457 of Walt Disney World Today. I'm Matt Hotchberg from StudioCentral.com. On the show today, we have Len Testa, co-author of the Unofficial Guide to Walt Disney World. And Len, we're newelless again today. Did you get any kind of letter of resignation?
Was it something I said? Was there a Willy Wonka contest that we were not aware of, that he had some sort of golden ticket thing?
That's right. He just disappeared off the face of the planet. Wow. Also joining us today is Mike Scopa of allears.net, who's a columnist over there. Welcome, Mike.
That's right. Acid.
That's right. Hold on, wait. No, that's right. Acid.
That's
Tough to be a bug?
Figment Dream Finder? No, I think he's right. I think it's tough to be a bug.
It's tough to be a bug.
Yeah.
Okay. Got my A game on tonight.
Yeah.
I was just blowing out my pistol.
Your finger.
Yeah, that's right. Len got it. See, Len and I have chemistry because we're on all these shows.
Exactly. We don't miss. I've been on like 6 straight.
That's a record for you.
I know, really. Sober too.
Sober.
Sober too?
Well,
Wow.
2. I mean, no, I meant 2 shows in a row, so we're not 6.
Oh, 2 shows, okay.
Let's not get crazy now.
Well, it's Wednesday. We're answering your listener questions. We're going to start out with a question from Jamie from the Crowncast podcast, my favorite non-Disney podcast, who writes, Ahoy, 5-Minute Mouseketeers. My family and I are heading to Walt Disney World in May 2009 for 8 nights and staying at Fort Wilderness Cabins. My question is about the golf cart rental. The carts are very expensive at $47 a day. Wow, are they really $47 a day?
Wow.
Wow. Anyway.
Great Caesar's Ghost, $47 a day?
Great Scott. Jamie
Cheaper
writes,
to get a...
it's a rent a car.
Yeah.
Jamie writes, every trip report and post say that they are a must-have. The problem is no one says why they are a must-have. Are there bandits and bushwhackers in the bushes that can't outrun a golf cart? We stayed at Coronado Springs last time that we were there. How much more walking could it possibly be?
It is kind of a hike. I mean, I don't know that you'd be walking from one side to the other more than a couple times. I've jogged around it. I mean, it's large. It's a few city blocks.
Yeah.
I don't know that I don't think that you need a.
I think it's a nice perk. I think if you're staying like in a tent and you're not paying that much for the resort, obviously, I could see that. But he's staying in the cabin and tack on another $47 a day.
Yeah, I mean, so it's like 1 mile from end to end, roughly speaking, on the campground. I mean, come on. I think it says more about the fitness level of the average American that they need a golf cart rather than the size of the campground.
I think it's cheaper to take 2 ECVs, rope them together, and have them as
exactly.
as an
you can stand on them too.
Exactly. Jamie also wants to know. Also, for Scopin 187, he recommended Trails End as, quote, the best place for any meal. So we are definitely going to be eating there. Out of the other Fort Wilderness Resort offerings or events, I would like to hear his thoughts.
On what?
On eating at Fort Wilderness in terms of...
well...
I'm dieting right now and it's killing me that we're even talking about this, but go ahead.
Yeah, in terms of the other offerings and events.
Yeah. The thing with Trails End is that it's a real good deal for the money. Breakfast and dinner. Lunch... I'm not sure about lunch now because I haven't been there since they've changed it. I know they have changed it to just salad and sandwiches and I think some soup. But it is the best deal. One of the reasons why it's a good deal is that it's not always full. For the most part, you can always get an ADR for breakfast or an ADR for dinner. And it's not expensive, and the food is pretty good quality. But like Matt was saying, I mean, there are other offerings as well.
Len, what do you think about the other offerings at Fort Wilderness, like the Hoop-de-Doo Review, I don't know, wherever else? The
Crockett's Tavern, Matt. You know.
Yeah, the tavern.
Yeah, actually, the tavern's not bad. I like the tavern. Hoop-de-Doo, I think is probably the best of the dinner shows.
Mm-hmm.
It's the most popular. It's got a variety of seating options. It's kind of hokey in a hee-haw sort of way. Not that there's anything wrong with hee-haw. I think it's absolutely fine.
Yeah, I mean, I love Fort Wilderness. There's so much stuff to do there. I did the horseback riding at Fort Wilderness, which actually was a lot of fun. You don't have to really be any kind of a cowboy. I mean, basically the horses kind of they've done the trail so often that they kind of know where they're going.
Did you actually go in thinking that you had to be some sort of cowboy?
I showed up in my spurs and my
in your chaps.
In my chaps and
howdy,
partner. What's this steel beast you have over here?
Oh, it's like you got inside my head, man.
I know I
Oh, I didn't think there was any room.
Oh, the scope of burn. Jamie also adds, also for Len, he should road trip with Mike up to Lake Placid, just north of Lake George, for the Ford Ironman USA Lake Placid, which is in July, a well-run event with great competition due to it being a qualifier for Kona Ironman in Hawaii.
I have to do a triathlon. I got to do something simple though. I've been bike riding. I've been running up to 7 miles now, 6 or 7 miles every couple days.
Nice.
So not bad.
Jamie adds, thanks for all you do. I hope this letter gets read. Even though I did not send brownies or hats, consider it a deposit in your karma bank. Thank you, Jamie. Next email is from Rachel Anthony, who writes, so I'm kind of behind an episode. Sorry about that, but I just listened to episode 431 about moving to the world. Just 3 quick comments. First, several of the traffic lights in Fort Myers, I'm a local, see address on email signature, do work just like the ones in Orlando, but they seem to have a program for our rush hour as to keep the traffic as moving quickly as possible on the main road. So if you come down on a weekend, you wouldn't have seen it. You're right, though, it is wacky. I mentioned that the traffic lights are dumb over here. 2, you will be cold at Mousefest. And 3, I have been there for 5.5 years. I never go to the beach anymore. I hope that doesn't happen to you with Disney. Fingers crossed. Thanks again for the show and the times you've answered questions for me. I really appreciate you guys.
So I think Matt, Len will probably see Matt with a turtleneck every day at Mousefest. Then I guess.
Yeah, these 70-degree temperatures are too much for me.
He'll be there with shorts and a t-shirt. He'll be there.
Yeah.
I will not. I'm telling you right now.
He'll have a
as God is my witness, I will not be one of those Floridians.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Next email is from Paul from Mansfield, Massachusetts. Writes, hi, Matt, Mike, and Len. I'll be attending my first Mousefest this year in 2008 and was wondering how I should approach making ADRs or even bothering to make ADRs. Since I'm traveling solo and want to try and mix with the Mousefest crowd, I was wondering how to approach this. I realize I've already missed the start of the 180-day window, but should I make some ADRs for solo dining or multiple people in the hopes that I can get a group together at Mousefest? I'd rather not eat alone, but I also don't want to miss out on having some nice meals. I did buy the Disney dining package for my stay December 11th through the 15th.
Well, one of the things that I would have suggested had this letter come in a month or 2 ago, although I'm afraid to ask. I was going to say, I'm afraid to ask.
It did,
when it came in originally in February, was that I think it would have been a good idea to join one of the communities, because many of these communities like Passport or Tagrel, Mouse World Trivia, or whatever it's called.
Disney World Trivia.
Disney World Trivia.
Mouse World is the cheap knockoff of Newell's working.
Those communities make ADRs for large group dinners, and they start making noise about making them in May and June, and usually in July and August and September is when they make them. And you kill 2 birds with one stone. Number one, you're guaranteed a good meal if you can find a restaurant that you like to eat at, and you also get a chance to meet some of the other folks that are Disney crazy and people who are in the Disney community. So that would be my suggestion. Even now, it might be worth a try to join a couple of communities and see what's up, see what's open.
Yeah, other than that, I like to keep my schedule open for Mousefest. You never know what's going to happen, who you'll meet, what you'll want to do. Things may change. So in terms of dining, Obviously, you have the dining plan. I might actually reconsider the dining plan simply because it's a waste, obviously, if you don't use your credits. And you may find yourself on certain days, you've just got so much, you're having fun, with doing the different events, going with different people, that sitting down for a meal may not work into your plans necessarily. So for that reason, I might reconsider whether or not you have the dining package. But like Mike said, I think joining communities is a great idea. Paul adds, I'll bring a bottle of maple syrup just in case, since I hear that that's the new Gatorade.
It is the drink of champions.
Chump.
You know what? The other thing I would say though too, I mean, if you're going on solo, I don't think there's any group of any size at MouseFest that couldn't accommodate one more.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it's tradition for us.
That's right. How many people make reservation for like 8 and show up with 12? I mean,
12 or wait, what was it last year?
syndrome.
Last year I had at Ohana, we had reservations for 12, and we ended up with 19.
Nice.
Did I ever say thank you, Len, by the way?
Why start now? We have to do that again. We have to do something fun again.
Yeah. Oh, we've got some plans. I got something up my sleeve over here.
Yeah. Okay.
Next email's from Dan and Jen, who write, Hey guys, my fiance and I will be tying the knot in 2010 here in Raleigh, North Carolina, and have narrowed down the date to either May 1st or May 15th. Why on earth are we emailing you all about this? Well, we plan on going to Walt Disney World for our honeymoon. Yes, we're actually planning our wedding around the crowd calendars. And we've been looking on touringplans.com and still can't decide on a date. Please, Len, help us decide.
Jeez. May 1st or May 15th?
Yes. I would go, while you're looking that up, Len,
Yeah.
I'm going to go with May 1st. Because I think the crowds look better. In terms of lower. That's what I meant by better.
Me too.
May, April, May. I'm trying to think if there's anything at the end of April that we would...
Yeah, because obviously with April you have spring break crowds, you have Easter, but by May 1st especially, everyone's back in school. May's a great month to tour Walt Disney World. It's not hurricane season yet. It's fairly warm there in Florida. It's one of my favorite months, really, to go to Walt Disney World because you kind of get the best of everything. The crowds are manageable.
And you still have Flower and Garden is available for both.
Yeah, that's right.
Yep.
So it's I think the first week is going to be slightly slower than the 15th. But I mean, it's a toss-up.
Yeah. Okay.
Go with whatever works. You got Memorial Day week, though, at the end. Oh, wait, no. It's the 1st or the 15th, right?
1st or the 15th, yes.
Yeah. Go with I think the 1st is going to be slightly slow.
There you go.
Yeah.
Next email's from Brian Thompson of Mount Joy, Pennsylvania, who's known as Skipper Bubba on the boards. Hoorah! Who writes, Matt, Mike, and Len, just curious as to what the single rider time for Test Track was when you opted for Soarin'. My wife and I love both rides, but we'll usually opt for the single rider at Test Track in order to get multiple rides in. Last December, the standby line was 70 minutes. Single rider was listed at 10. And from that time we entered the queue until we exited the gift shop, it was a total of 13 minutes. Just my 2 cents.
I think we looked at the single rider line, but it wasn't significantly less, was it?
Yeah, I don't know. What happened was, I think you went to Test Track and Fred Hazelton went to Soarin' to check the times.
Opposite.
This is for those who aren't aware. We're referencing the episode. I'll put a link in the show notes to when we did all 4 parks in one day, and we got to Epcot, and we decided we were going to do either Test Track or Soarin', depending on which one had less of a wait. We ended up going to Soarin' because it was slightly less.
Right.
But the other thing is also, isn't a single ride line kind of cheating? Because you're not going to ride together.
Yeah, I don't think so. Do you?
I don't know. Like, Scopa, since you ordain these rules.
Hey, a ride is a ride. We said do an attraction. We didn't say how.
Okay.
I mean, we could talk about how we did the Great Movie Ride, but we don't bring that up, do we?
Oh, that's true. All right, never mind.
Nice.
Keep that under our heads. Yeah. You'll have to email us if you want the story on that.
That's right, and pay.
Next email is from Danielle Groger, who writes, Hey, Matt, Len, and Mike Squared. You guys rock my socks. I have a question about MouseFest 2008. Do you know when the schedule will be up for all the events? My mother and I plan a trip every year during the Christmas celebration. This year just happened to be the week we are going is also the week of MouseFest. We have never been and are really looking forward to meeting everyone. Do you know what night the Very Merry Christmas Party is with everyone? Thanks for all you do. You guys make my days go faster and my time between the worlds shorter. Love you guys. Keep up the great work.
That's great.
Scopa?
Well, number one, as far as the schedule goes, right now we are filling in some of the major meets. Right now, we are taking stock in what we had last year, giving those people who had meets last year our first crack at like sort of like the grandfather clause, where we're saying, if you want to maintain your slot, if you intend on hosting, then let us know, and we're just finishing up with that. I don't know when the schedule will be released. I'm guessing that with all the meets that are being suggested, that'll take a while. I would say possibly within another 4 to 6 weeks, we may see something like registration show up. As far as the Mickey's Very Merry, it will be held on December 11th, Thursday night, and I will be co-hosting that along with Mike Newell and Michelle Scribner-McLean of All Ears Net. So we'll be hosting that.
Mike, what was his name? It sounds familiar, but I just can't place it.
I know, I'm getting deja vu. It's like September 2005 all over again. His name is Nowitzki? Noelle?
Newelly.
I think that's how you pronounce it.
I heard he was going to go on strike somewhere. I didn't think it was the show.
Yeah. You never know with him.
Oh, 2 points for you, Len.
Yeah, thank you.
Next email is from William Tracy, who writes, what's the best way using Disney transportation to get to Disney's Wide World of Sports? I read and heard that the only way was catching a bus from the studios. Is that correct? Len?
Good question. No, I don't. Wide World of Sport. Jeez, I don't know. Good question.
I thought that.
Why would you just be able to? Why would you be able to get there just from the studios, though? That doesn't.
Yeah, no, I think all the parks have it. They may share a bus. It'd be like, sometimes they do like Typhoon Lagoon and one of the other parks, like Downtown Disney and Typhoon Lagoon, usually share a bus, and Blizzard Beach and someone else uses, shares a bus. That may be the case, but I'm pretty sure it's more. I don't think it's just the studios, to be honest with you.
I got to throw in a caveat here, Matt, because I think that the best advice that we should give is that when anyone is down there and they need to find out which bus route goes where, they need to ask and not assume that what we're saying today is going to be factual on the day they're there. Because I noticed that while I was checking in at Pop a few weeks ago, there was a guest who was asking questions, and I thought, okay, so they should really be taking this bus here. And the guest member said, no, this is what you want to do, blah, blah, blah. And I'm thinking, man, they're always changing. So the best advice we could give is to ask when you're there.
Yeah, I was going to say according to the guide, it's available via Disney Transportation System, so we don't put any caveats on where you would need to pick it up. So
I'm seeing somewhere else. Someone else mentioned that it's only available at Hollywood Studios, which is interesting.
But why would you?
Yeah, why?
Yeah, I don't understand.
Check with your front desk when you get there. I would ask that question.
Yeah, from what I'm reading, you got to go to the studios and then switch buses to get there. But yeah, definitely check when you get in.
How would anyone know that, though? I guess.
Yeah, it's just convoluted, unnecessarily convoluted.
Yeah. Anyway, okay.
All right. Next email's from Diane, who writes, "Hi guys, we're going to the Food and Wine Festival in late September, early October. Are all the parks busy, or is it just Epcot? Thanks for all the information I've gotten from you." I think it's
at night. Epcot's probably the most visited park, I would guess.
September, early October. Nah, it's just in fact, I don't think
Friday and Saturday nights. I don't know.
Late September. No, I don't think the Magic. No, definitely don't think the Magic Kingdom is that busy. In fact, we have a couple of 3 days and a few 4s coming up in late September, October.
Can't wait for those 3s. I'll just be riding things over and over and over again.
Over and again, exactly.
But Epcot will be crowded, Len, right?
Epcot will be. I mean, so it'll even seem more crowded because of the way that Disney sets up the booths for the
tight
food, right, in World Showcase. So that takes up a lot of the walking space. So it'll seem more busy than it is. That being said, during the week, very few people, I think, are going to come from Orlando to pay $4 for a mouthful of food at some Greek pavilion for souvlaki at the Greek pavilion,
or Gravelax if they actually had it.
If they had it, and I think that's actually they're deliberately trying to make me look bad. I mean, I'm not paranoid or anything, but yeah. So I think so weekends, Friday nights, Saturday nights. I think it's a great date thing to do.
Right.
Yeah.
Next email is from Mike from Staten Island, New York.
Oh, wait. Speaking of late September, I don't have my wedding invitation yet, Matt. Go ahead.
I think I heard something, but I'm not sure what it was. Mike from Staten Island, New York writes, I recently got hooked on iced coffee. I need to know if there are any places in the parks where I can get some good iced coffee. Any help would be appreciated.
Iced coffee. You can barely find good coffee.
I'm thinking the Swan and Dolphin probably has some. Wouldn't you say?
There's a Swan and Dolphin. Wow.
Yeah, iced coffee. I mean, I'm not a coffee drinker, so that's my problem. I'm out right there.
I mean, even coffee, you definitely have to go sort of off-site for that. But iced coffee. Okay, so if you go off-site, there's a Krispy Kreme donut shop and a Dunkin' Donuts on 192, around the 5000 block.
There's a Starbucks where if you take a right out of downtown Disney, and on 535, about a mile down the road on your left, will be a Starbucks over there. It's a drive-through also.
But iced coffee, jeez,
Wow.
that's tough.
Yeah, that one's a ooh.
I know All Ears Net has a thing on where to find coffee, but can you do iced coffee at?
Well, in the Boardwalk,
Well-
you have Boardwalk Joe's, which is like kind of a coffee stop over there, and they have coffee, espresso, a number of frozen beverages.
No, I
Non-alcoholic.
found iced cappuccino. If you want to go that way, it's iced cappuccino at Enchanted Grove. But other than that,
Yeah. Well, you know what? We don't know the answer to everything, and this is clearly somewhere we don't know the answer to. So maybe if one of our listeners knows the answer, please post it in the
I wonder if
notes.
I mean, if it's just coffee on ice, Coda might be able to do that as well.
Yeah, maybe again. Hopefully, one of our listeners will be able to help Mike out. Mike also adds, "P.S. Go Jets." I wish there was a Jets fan on this show, but I don't know of any. So, boo Jets.
Yeah, no.
Next email is from Frank, who writes, "Here's an idea for Walt Disney World Today show. It's entitled "The Tomorrow Was Great Show." Mr. Voice comes in and says, This was Walt Disney World Today. Give us 5 minutes and we will give you the world. Music fades. Matt Jr. It's Wednesday, May 28th, 2048, and this is episode 847 of the second volume. I am Matt Hochberg of StudioCentral.com. On the show today, we have Mike Scope of AllEars.net. Hey, lady, I think he likes you. Matt Jr. That must be the great movie ride. Mike, you're right. Matt Jr. Boy, do I miss the studios. The hologram version of the Disney Museum just doesn't cut it for me anymore. On the show today, we have Len Testa, co-author of the official guide to Walt Disney World. Len, how's it going today? Matt Jr. As my father would say, outstanding. Mike Scopa. He was a great man. Too bad he didn't learn about the rejuvenating chemicals in a Dole Whip in time. Len, the power of chemicals. Mike, how old are you anyway? Mike Scopa. I'm in my hundreds now by birth, but back to my 40s genetically. Hope we gotta love that whip. Matt, today we'll be talking about plans for the changes that are rumored to be in the second bullet monorail line from the Orlando airport.
Bullet monorail line.
So thank you, Frank, for that funny email.
That's great.
Next email is from Ted Knapp of Fairport, New York. Writes, hey guys, great show. I know this is my second question in as many weeks, but my family is visiting the world in December 2008. So we're getting close to our 180-day... Oh, you're already past that. We want to do the Fantasmic dining package at Mama Melrose. We also have the base meal plan. My question is, can we redeem our full-service dining for one night at the Fantasmic dinner package? Any help would be appreciated.
why?
Yeah, well, the answer is yes, you could, but no, bad. Here, I'm throwing something at you. Don't do that. You don't want to do it. It's a waste. You don't need it. Absolutely not, Ted. So just book wherever you'd like to eat at the studios without the package, and you'll be fine. Even though you could use it with the package, but it's unnecessary.
Hey, man, when was the last time you ate over at Mama Melrose's?
I ate there on Saturday with Mike Newell.
What'd you have?
I had the oak grilled tuna, and Mike had the what's it called? The one he always gets, chicken parmesan.
The standard, the unit of measure for Italian restaurants everywhere.
Yes.
How was it?
It was very good. Always, great value. We had the tomato and mozzarella appetizer, which was fantastic. We had the bread sampler, which was good. I like the tomato and mozzarella much better than that. Really enjoyed it, and it was great. It was a last minute reservation. We walked up and said, to the dining, what have you got available? Bam, they had one for about half an hour from that point, and we checked in actually early. We just walked straight over there, and they're like, yeah, we can take you.
Wow,
Yeah,
how
I
about
ate there in
that?
August.
What'd you have?
I had the eggplant Napoleon, which was terrible.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Not too many restaurants know how to make eggplant really well. And
Uh-oh.
Yeah,
I always
it's
like
true.
to try it,
What did Carol have?
Oh, I think she had one of the flatbreads. I think she tried the grilled chicken flatbread. She loves those things. So can't go wrong with a flatbread, really.
Yeah.
Like a pizza.
I'm just saying, chicken and pizza don't go. It's something. It just doesn't. I know it actually does work occasionally, but I don't know. It seems odd to me. Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, speaking of Italian places, actually, I went to the Florida Mall the other day, Len, and you would appreciate this. They had this restaurant. It's a nationwide chain, I think. It's called Buca de Pilo, something like that.
Boca del Vista?
No. No, it's a Boca, B-O-C-C-A, de Pillow. I'll put a link in the show notes. Anyway, it's like one of those like over-the-top Italian places, and in one, I swear to God, they have a room that's called the Pope Room, and in the middle of the table is a box with the Pope's head in there.
Wow, is that where they put it when he's done with it?
Well, they have it there. I mean, I don't know if that's creepy or cool, but
That must have been placed there during their first celebration of Festivus.
Anyway, I saw it there, and I said, Len Testa would be the stamp of approval with that. Be sure to ask.
Thanks for sending us a photo, Matt, by the way.
Anytime.
That's fabulous.
I didn't eat the Pope table. Next email is from Rick from Hilltown, Pennsylvania, who writes, "Hey guys, my question is it reasonable to extrapolate the crowd calendar from touringplans.com and apply it to Universal parks? In other words, a heavier week at Disney World indicates a heavier week at Universal, a lighter crowd at Walt Disney World mean a lighter crowd at Universal, etc. Thanks, keep up the great work. All the fans really appreciate it."
Yeah, vaguely. I think the Magic Kingdom is a good representative sample of what you see at Universal. It's slightly different, but not much. Yeah, so it's a good approximation.
Okay. Next email is from Lori in Palo Alto, California, a.k.a. Anonymous Girl on www.com and touringplans.com. Hoorah! And a ding for you. This question is directed to Len, although I dearly love all of you. With Martin Luther King Day and the presidential inauguration following back-to-back this year, what do you think this will do to the crowd calendar numbers? Touringplans.com, ding, has Martin Luther King listed as a 6, with the weekend days listed at 7.
Yeah.
Approximately 100,000 federal employees from the D.C. area will have a nice long 4-day weekend, as well as their kids' schools. So do you think Walt Disney World will see any impact? I'm planning to go down sometime in January, but it is increasingly difficult to find a good week with Martin Luther King weekend, Super Bowl in Tampa February 1st, President's Day, Mardi Gras, Spring Break, Easter, ESPN the weekend, and then it's grad nights in summer again. Thanks so much for the terrific podcast. It is absolutely my favorite podcast of all.
Yeah, it's gonna be a busy weekend. That's why we have it up at 6 and 7s. That's what we saw last year, actually. So it's a pretty good indication that was busier. But remember, 2 or 3 years ago, because I think we get this question once a year or a couple times a year. A couple of years ago, it wasn't that busy at all. But last year was, so that's why it's up. So not only do they have MLK Day, but the week before, approximately a week before, they've got the marathon. Right. Then they've got the Super Bowl a couple weeks later. Then they've got President's Day weekend and a bunch of other stuff. Scope, did you just put yourself on mute?
Anyway, is that it, Len?
Yeah, I think that's it.
Okay. Next email is from Paul from Seattle, Washington, who writes, having read the very entertaining wiki, I feel comfortable saying Mangello to you all. My girlfriend and I will be going to the Food and Wine Festival in October, but then generally go to Disneyland for the Christmas festivities, being from Seattle. I was contemplating surprising her with a weekend getaway to the world instead, and also wondered what resorts would you recommend which would have the best holiday theme? Also, what are some other must-dos for holidays in the world? Keep up the great podcast, and get one started for Disneyland.
Yeah, we got to do one for Disneyland, don't we?
And we need a hell of a lot more vacation, research trips before we could do that. Best hotel for the holidays, Scopa, what do you think?
Nothing says Christmas.
Boy, that's a tough.
Disney's Century Resort.
Exactly.
Well,
I haven't said that in years.
That's a tough one, Matt. I would say, if you're really into lobby Christmas trees, you can go with Animal Kingdom Lodge, or you can go with Wilderness Lodge, I guess.
I really like what Boardwalk does. They have a nice little train set over there. They really decorate that kind of nice, the Boardwalk Resort. Mike, what would you say? How about a moderate resort? What's the best one for moderate in terms of decorations?
Moderate. Boy, that's a tough one. I would say I'd go with Port Orleans, French Quarter.
Any particular reason why?
I just think that they have just the way that they have built that resort, the way it was designed. It just offers more opportunity for really nice decorations, more so than the others. Although I'd say maybe the Caribbean has a shot.
Yeah, I think I go with you with the Port Orleans pick. All right, time for one last email. Scopa, why don't you pick it since Newell's not here? Your option.
I'll pick that one.
Your choices are Uno, Dos, or C. Go ahead.
I'll go with door number 4.
Well, here's your options: Dole Whip at home, drinking around the world minus the beer, What to do with my last night in the world. So Dole Whip at home, drinking around the world minus the beer, or what to do with my last night in the world.
Okay, my answer will be based on who's going to answer the question.
We'll
Am I going to answer the question?
Well, no. It's open for anybody. It's just you just pick the question.
Let's try drinking around the world minus beer.
All right, I call that crazy.
It's like decaf coffee. What's the point?
Exactly. Next email and last email for today is from Sarah, who writes, "Hi, Matt, Mike, and Len. I really like the idea of drinking around the world in Epcot. The only problem is that I really hate beer. I know of a few non-beer adult beverages options in the World Showcase, notably in Mexico, France, and Italy. What about the other countries? Are there any alcoholic beverage options besides beers in those countries? I know there's a full-service bar in the UK, but somehow ordering rum and Coke doesn't seem especially British to me. Any ideas on options that are representative of that country? And please don't suggest Canadian maple syrup. My stomach is churning just thinking about it. Thanks for everything. I really enjoy the show. And if you've been listening since the beginning, by the way, I live in Tampa, so if you ever don't answer anytime soon, no big deal."
That's fabulous. Yeah, so I think every country has some sort of alcoholic beverage that's not beer. Germany has Goldschlager, right?
That's right.
At least, and they have some sort of peppermint schnappy thing.
Yeah, you can go. France has. She mentioned France. They have the what's that thing called? The Grand
Wine.
Grand Marnier.
Grand Marnier wine. Yeah. Norway. What'd you have in Norway?
Oh, Norway.
Fish juice.
What does Norway have in terms of alcohol? I know they've got more than.
I know there are beers that they have. I'm trying to think of non-beers.
Interesting.
Yeah, that one would pose a problem.
That might be it. But Mexico has. Mexico. Margaritas.
I think Norway. Yeah, the margaritas are excellent. They have the margarita stand.
What does China have?
Oof.
You can definitely get. That was miserable. You can definitely get sake.
I got it. Norway has Viking coffee, which is Kamora coffee liquette, and Bailey's original ice cream. Irish cream.
Ice cream sounds good. Okay, so everyone's got something.
Bailey's. You also get Bailey's coffee. So
yeah, I suspect you'll be getting a lot of those kind of mixtures. The countries that Sarah had mentioned, like Mexico, France, Italy, they have like signature drinks. Things are really associated with them. In the United Kingdom.
How about the tea stand?
What about Morocco?
China.
Yeah, Morocco's. Oh, no, that doesn't have alcohol in it.
Morocco.
Because they have some good coffee over there, but that's just really strong. Not.
Yeah.
Morocco. Let's see.
Yeah, that one's gonna be a little tough. You know what you could also do is ask the cast members that work there. I mean, they're gonna know what are some.
I need a stiff drink before I go in your country.
You can get Moroccan wine. You can get sangria in Morocco.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, okay. The other thing is every country's gonna have wine. I think every country you can buy some sort of a wine product from. So that could definitely be an option for you over there. Obviously, France has a huge selection of it, but. Other countries, they'll all be selling some sort of a wine, be it a couple of options or a lot of options, and you can find something over there to drink for sure.
Wow.
Obviously, in the United Kingdom Pavilion, you can have there's a number of Irish beverages, obviously Bailey's, which we mentioned. You can really go to town with some of the other options there.
Go wild, is that what you're going to
say? Exactly.
I think we have to invite Sarah to our next
Yeah, should be like
get together.
It should be like the vegetarian of us. She won't be able to drink any beer or anything. But the other thing is, Len, you had mentioned it. The sake in Japan is also a great option.
Oh, yeah, and that's in the back of the store.
Right.
Yeah, and they do pourings, like individual pourings.
Right.
Yeah, fabulous.
Well, that's it for us today. Don't forget that this episode of Walt Disney World Today has been sponsored by MEI and Mouse Fan Travel, the official travel agency of WDW Today. And if you're trying to plan out your next trip to find out where you can get alcohol from, well, they'll be able to help you with that, along with trying to book your plans for your resort, as well as anything else you'll need. They're a great service, and give them a try. Visit www.mousefantravel.com. If you want to find our older episodes, read our show notes, or send us your comments, visit the Walt Disney World Today website at wdwtoday.com. For Len Testa, Mike Scopa, and Mike Newell, I'm Matt Hochberg. We'll see you on the next show.
Who was that last guy that you mentioned?